I'm Jonathan Scott, and welcome to On Air Education. Sponsored in part by Nevada State College, On Air Education is a program dedicated to helping teachers, parents, and students with distance and blended learning. In previous episodes of On Air Education, we learned from our teachers that teaching math is different than teaching science, and teaching history is different than teaching English. Our teachers have adapted to distance learning out of necessity. Their jobs are harder than ever, which is why we have invited entertainers to join our lively art of conversation about how they engage their audience. Let's welcome our guests. Magician Xavier Mortimer is a headliner on the Las Vegas Strip with his show A Magical Dream at Bally's Hotel and Casino. And Kathryn Buffington-Lacey is a math educator at K.O. Knudsen Middle School teaching 8th grade mathematics. What does the K.O. stand for? Knockout?
Yes, Knockout Knudsen.
Knockout Knudsen.
Yes.
Yeah, Miss Buff, right?
Yes.
All right.
Miss Buff.
As one of the most viewed illusionists online, Xavier Mortimer's videos have had more than 4 billion views, 3.6 billion on Facebook, 250 million on YouTube, 200 million on TikTok, and nearly 100 million on Instagram. Securing his position as a major social media influencer, this is an incredible achievement considering prior to the pandemic, Xavier Mortimer was a mere 40,000 followers. A far cry from this new and historic milestone. During the pandemic, Xavier took to social media with illusions from his live show, A Magical Dream. I have one of those every night. Directed by French celebrity Alex Good.
Mm-hmm.
I said his name right?
That's great.
It was during the pandemic, of course, the show was shut down at Bally's Las Vegas. So Xavier could continue to bring his illusions to fans around the world. As a result, in addition to having the most viewed video on Facebook in 2020, 669 million views, he also had the most viewed video in June 2020 with 354 million views. Xavier, I know a magician never tells his secrets, but I hope that you can share some of your engagement skills with our teachers and parents. How do you get over 10 million views on social media, sir?
The secret.
I'm saying, wear my Beatles tie, which is, do you want to know a secret? Because I want you to share some of your secrets.
I'll share
today.
many secrets with you. I'm happy to share secrets with you.
Okay, so you had 40,000, and so do you find that people just love magic? Is that what it is?
I love magic, and I want to inspire people. So that's why I'm doing that. To be honest, they shut down the show at the beginning of the pandemic, and I stayed at home. And I was not a social media influencer. I just posted once in a while, like everyone, you know. But suddenly I was like, why not like expanding? Why not creating? And I had the help of friends and people around me who knew about social media and explained me, this is the way you have to do it. This is the way that people are going to watch magic more likely on social media. But now find your way, find your style, and find the way that people are going to engage to your magic. And you know, we try, and once in a while you have something that hits, and you're like, oh, that's something that people respond to. The same way that you would do that when you're an educator. You say things, you do things, and you teach people, and sometimes they click on something, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna keep that idea and maybe decline it to something else. And you have another hit, and then you find kind of a process, kind of a branding to what you do, which is my style of magic. And then after a year and a half, you look back and you're like, wow, I've done that. That's amazing. But it's not about the numbers. It's about inspiring people. It's about creating something. It's about doing something different. It's about making a difference, and also making a difference in the art of magic.
Miss Buff, what do you think of all that?
I think that's just sounds wonderful. That gives us another tool for engagement to get kids sucked in. The art of the hook, you know, we like to say, to get kids interested in something. So if you can show me some tricks that I can use in my classroom to introduce the math, that would be amazing.
What have you been using as a hook?
I use a lot of music, so 2 ways to get the kids interested. So I'll bring some music, a music video or a dance or a song, like Slope Rider. Slope, you know, like Flow Rider.
How does that tie into math, though?
Well, it helps them remember what slope is. So the song will go, you know, slope, 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 and then we do the movements with it. We're going down, lower, 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 and we show negative slope and positive slope with our bodies, and so we get them engaged by moving around and making dance movements. And then once they understand what they're doing and they have some independent practice on some regular math problems, which they're more likely to do once they're interested, and then we go to creating something on their own. So like creating a video, I sent you one, the quad solve. My students created that the quad solve to help them remember how to take a radical and simplify it.
I wish I knew what you were talking about.
Yeah, sorry.
Talk about a radical takes me back to the 1960s. Oh, we were radical back then. So I didn't tell Michael Caprio this, and so, but when I was 5 years old, I started doing little magic tricks for the kids in the neighborhood. My grandparents had a poodle, a French poodle, and it would Pierre would bounce balloons on his nose, and I would charge the kids a nickel, and I would do the cup and ball with the vase, and I would do the little rabbits disappearing, and I said the Great Houdini. And when I was 5 years old, and the big treat at Christmas time would be going down to Marshall Fields in Chicago. I'm from Chicago, and getting a new magic trick.
Oh, yes.
You know, it was like those very simple stuff, but it always amazed me, you know, that really once you knew the trick, it was like, oh, that's so easy. I should have figured that out.
Yeah, it happens to me too. When the first trick that I bought, and I had to put all this money together because you're a kid and you have nothing. You're like, oh, I was selling flowers on the market to get the money to buy the magic tricks, and I buy this trick for like 60 francs. It's a lot of money for me. It's probably $2 now. I saved this money for all this time, and I receive a little piece of metal, and I was like, that's not a magic trick. and suddenly I realized, no, it's not about what you receive, it's about how you present, how you make it work, how the feeling that you're going to create with the magic. You know, it's like when you say I'm doing the cups and balls, you can do it either super wrong or super good, and it's the same trick. It's just how you engage people.
It's all about engagement, isn't it? Well, that's the topic of our show, is how to engage parents, how to engage teachers, how to engage students with using distance learning. And I know you've had your hands full. I know you're working harder than ever. And teaching math, I would think, is a very, they either dig it or they don't, I guess is what I'm kind of going towards. But we're going to take a short commercial break. You're watching On Air Education. My name is Jonathan Scott, and we'll be back in 60 seconds.
Whoever you are, you're one of us. Whatever you want, we'll get you there. If you're not like anyone else, you're just what we're looking for. It's time to enroll in your future. Nevada State College.
Welcome to the Great American Pub, a great place to hang out with your friends, watch a game, and enjoy some great pub food. Our kitchen is open 24/7 with our full menu. Try some of our signature dishes like lobster mac and cheese or clam chowder. Join us at the Great American Pub and enjoy happy hour specials. Grab a drink and enjoy great pub food from all over the country right here in Las Vegas. The Great American Pub with 2 great locations, 215 in Eastern and Flamingo in 215.
In a changing world, it's time to change how we look at college. That's why Nevada State College provides excellence with affordability, a campus with diversity, and programs that offer opportunity. Nevada State College. Be bold, be great, be state.
And we're back. Jonathan Scott here on Air Education with our guest, magician Xavier Mortimer and Miss Buff. I get to call you Miss Buff just like the kids do. A math teacher, and what's the name of the school?
K.O. Knudsen.
Knockout.
Yes.
Knockout Knudsen. Knockout Buff. So Xavier, you brought something to help entertain us and engage us a little bit. What did you bring for us
I
today?
always have something or nothing, because if I'm a real magician, I should do something with nothing, right? Can I borrow the piece of tape here? Yeah. Oh, thank you. Okay, we're gonna do something fun.
Masking tape.
You got a very nice tie.
Thank you. Want it?
I'm gonna do the same.
Okay.
Can you
He's
see me
got
on the
nothing up
camera
his
here?
sleeves because he doesn't have any sleeves.
There's nothing I received, but I'm making.
Xavier Mortimer.com, I believe, is your website too, right?
Yes.
Oh, so now you have a tie.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a real tie, but now look, this way it looks like better, right?
Closer, yes.
Closer.
Yes.
If I do something with a little bit of magic, rub 3 times.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Oh! Amazing! Now he's got a tie. How's that? Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
And his hands never left his arms. Never left his arms. Xavier, big applause. You got to applaud after something like that. That was pretty cool, man. How'd
Thank
you do
you.
it? Nope. It's a secret. It's a secret. All right. So our associate producer, Carol Adams-Hattar, has put a couple of questions together for Kathy. Since we live in Las Vegas, this is a question that everyone would be interested in knowing. Could you use dice to teach students about the laws of probability?
Yes. Yes.
It's a
Well,
yes?
we don't call them dice. We call them number cubes.
Number cubes. Okay, next one. How could you introduce the concepts of fractions or division by using the magic trick of cutting a person into halves or thirds?
Oh, well, we do that with some students, but we just don't tell you about it.
You don't tell us about them?
No. Yeah. You'll have to tell us about that.
Carol started by saying, the gift of imagination has meant more to me than any talent for abstract positive thinking. That was said by Albert Einstein. So the question is, how would you explain the theory of relativity to students since so much of magic relies on gravity?
Oh, well, relativity is more complicated than
I mean, you
gravity.
agree that gravity plays a part in magic?
Well, we try to defy gravity. That's what I'm doing every day. That's my job, to make sure that gravity doesn't affect my life. I'm flying. But no, it's funny because I actually love math and science and stuff like this. My job is a magician, but I'm reading books, and it's funny because there's something I wanted to tell you. When I was a kid, it was not my passion. I was not like passionate by math in general, and I always asked my math teacher, what can I use? How can I use that in my real life, like fractions and stuff, like, and I never had a real answer, and I wish I had a real answer. And one day I built this flying device, a delta plane, and I go see my math teacher and said, is there something to calculate how wide should be the thing for me to fly? And he comes with a solution, and it was a huge equation. And I was like, wow, and this is math. This is what I'm going to use in my life. And today in my life as a magician, I use math every day, even more than we can imagine. I measure things, calculate triangles and fractions and stuff, and that's so useful. And that gave me that practicability. The fact that I can practice that every day gave me the taste for it, gave me the love for it. So I love math.
Do you find, Kathy, that people in general use one side of their brain or the other, like they're either math people or art people? Because you said you use art a lot, and it's almost, to me, it's like different sides of my brain.
Well, maybe it is. I don't know the science behind that exactly, but no. Some people will think they're either a math person or not a math person, but it's my job to convince you that we're all math people, and the kids just don't understand that yet. And you're exactly right, Xavier. If you can get them interested in an end product, and they're going to have to learn some math to get that end product, that's what gets them motivated.
We were texting earlier today, and right now I'm kind of fascinated with this cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and blockchain and all these new technological things that have to do with finance. And you said, wow, that's a good idea. Maybe that will engage the kids next year. I mean, I'm trying to wrap around it to figure out the 10,000 new cryptocurrencies that are out there and how blockchain works and smart contracts and everything like that. But again, it's about engagement. So, I mean, I have to learn this because I'm fascinated by this new currency and how people have made millions understanding it. And Bobo the Clown Boy here, I want to try and figure it out. How do you get the kids that are like borderline, how do you engage them and get them interested in math?
Oh, well, you talked about Bitcoin, so anything that has to do with money is going to stimulate their
Oh, yeah.
interest right away. It does ours. It works the same way with the kids.
Right.
Anytime we talk about money, if I just ask them what this math problem is, but if I call it money, if I call it dollars, then suddenly our brains work faster and they get more interested into it. So if we can do that with the arts and the magic, that's where we can get kids interested in the learning. That's why my kids perform better, is because they practice more, because they're more interested, because we do fun things like singing and dancing.
So, but when I think of art, I think the visual. Well, am I wrong in thinking that you use visual art?
No, we use that too. In fact, this week we're doing a Wheel of Pythagoras, or sorry, Wheel of Theodorus.
I wouldn't have known the difference.
Yes, it's
Oh, you mean him?
a Wheel of Theodorus. So they're
That Greek
designing,
guy.
yeah, and they're using the Pythagorean theorem, and they're, so they're making this
Yeah, I
spiral.
forgot that. What's the I can't even say
A
it.
squared plus B squared equals C
What is
squared.
it?
The sum of the squares of the legs, the square
The sum of the
root,
square.
the root of the sum of the squares of the difference of the. Now you.
We're going to take a short commercial break. You're watching On Air Education. My name is Jonathan Scott. We'll be back in 60 seconds or even less. Stay right where you are.
Whoever you are, you're one of us. Whatever you want, we'll get you there. If you're not like anyone else, you're just what we're looking for. It's time to enroll in your future. Nevada State College.
Get the broom. Get the broom from the bottom.
This is crazy.
Push me up.
You need help?
What are you doing here?
No.
Oh my God.
I got you.
Go higher.
Are you kidding?
Do you see that, kitten?
What?
Do you see that?
This is so crazy.
Okay. Oh my God.
Oh my. What? Oh my gosh. You're about to reach the top.
You want me to change the lamp too?
Oh my gosh.
Grab the shoes, guys.
Oh my gosh. You're crazy.
Oh my God.
What are you doing?
He's so awesome here.
I'm gonna get down.
Let's stay a little bit.
And we're back. Jonathan Scott, On Air Education. Of course, that was our guest, Xavier Mortimer, that we just saw a little clip of. So you've got a story about I can't say it.
Pythagoras.
Pythagoras.
So yeah, it's something that got me into math when I was older. I actually, after I left school and I started to read books and stuff, and I read that thing about the Prince of Egypt who asked Pythagoras, but apparently it's a legend. It's not even true, but the story says that the Prince of Egypt said Pythagoras built like something or designed something for him, and he said, look, what do you want me to pay you? And the guy comes and say, very simple. You take a check, how do you call that? A check, yeah, where you play check,
Okay.
right? And you have squares on the check game. There's 64 squares.
Oh, like checkers.
A checkers. Okay, so you get a checker. Sorry, but it's my English. You get a checker,
Wheat.
and you put one grain of wheat.
Okay.
Okay, is that right? A grain of
A
wheat
grain of wheat on
Yeah.
a square.
on a square. The second one, you're gonna place 2 grains. The third one, you're gonna place 4, 8, 16, and 32. So you
Okay.
have a full row, and then you're gonna continue and end up on 64. And this is what you're gonna pay me. And the Prince of Egypt was like, yeah, sure.
Okay.
They started to do the thing and put up the grains. It appears that even if the Egypts had 5 years full of all their harvests of grains of wheat, they couldn't pay Pythagoras.
Is that the story you knew?
I did not know that story. I know a similar parable, but yeah, that's amazing because you start with just one, and if you offer, we've done something similar with kids. If you offer them $1 million now, or you get $1 and you double it every day for a month, which one would you prefer? And you make it's much exponentially greater.
Yeah,
to
well,
take
that
for
sounds
30
like
days.
how I used to play roulette, which is a French game. I used to start with $5, then $10, then 20, 40, 60, 80, 160, and then 320, 640, and then I couldn't. The table limit was 1,000.
Yeah.
So if you're playing the outside on the roulette table, it doubles each time.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
and
red or black.
actually gambling is a lot of probabilities and mathematics.
It's
if
all
you
it's all
understand what
theoretical.
all about, so,
theoretical play.
Yeah.
Xavier Mortimer, the headliner from Bally's. You brought another illusion
Yeah.
for us to
As I
engage
said,
our
yeah,
audience today.
Do you have a phone I can use?
Use Richard's. He doesn't care.
Okay. So, Richard, think of a big number. You got it. So I'm going to do something a little different. We have.
I'm gonna write it down so I don't forget it. That's okay.
No, you don't need to write down your
I'm
number.
just gonna think about it.
Just think about it.
Think
Send
about
it to me.
Okay.
All right. Now we're gonna try to find his number. Okay.
Okay.
We've got 5-digit number. Richard, can you
Okay.
tell us? Do you see something that reminds you of something of your number? No. Okay. We're gonna try to find it from here. We're gonna multiply that number
Okay.
by a 3-digit number that you're gonna type. Go ahead.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, the same 3-digit number.
I'm consistent.
Yeah. We're gonna multiply it again by a 2-digit number. We have a million number now. So if you multiply it by this, 77, we have hundreds of million now. We need
Yes.
to multiply by a 2-digit number. Do you want to choose 2-digit
Sure,
number?
sure.
Okay. 66. Does it remind you of something, Richard?
66. Remind you of.
66 is not.
No. You type digit, 3-digit, 2-digit, 3-digit, 2-digit. We're gonna press equal. Just go ahead and press equal. Now we have a big number. Do you see that big number? Richard, do you see it on camera? On camera.
Yes, I
Line
see
it.
that.
Perfect. Now, do you recognize that number?
I certainly do.
What is it?
That's my phone number.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. How do you do that?
It's math and magic.
Math and magic together again, which is our topic here on Air Education. Xavier Mortimer will be appearing at Bally's. What's the name of your show?
Magical dream.
Magic in Dreams.
Magical dream.
Magical dreams.
Yes. It's a dream, and we drag the audience into my dream where crazy things happen.
So, Kathy, tell us where you're at with the kids and with math and engagement. How do you see? I mean, are you having luck with Canvas?
Yes, I was fortunate enough that I had a lot of Canvas training several years ago, so I had a leg up on that. And when we went into this, it was, you could just see the kids were hurting. I have 16 grandchildren. The kids were hurting. So the first thing we had to do was build relationships with the kids and make them feel safe and secure, and not just thrust a bunch of academic requirements on them without building that relationship first. So we did that. We did a lot of singing online and show and tell, data collection, things like that. And then we moved into, with the math, we do a lot of Kahoots, live video games, some exploratory online.
What's Kahoots?
Kahoot is a like an online quiz show sort of thing
Oh.
that the kids all partake in, and they can do that on their devices. And it gets them excited. They get to talk back and forth and participate in a competitive atmosphere. And it's non-competitive too, because you can be anonymous. No one knows.
How much does technology play a part with what you're teaching the kids with math? Because I know you have to wrestle the phone out of their hands.
Yes. Well, even in a non-pandemic year, we use a lot of technology, yes, because that's what the kids are used to. And with the technology, then we can differentiate for each individual student rather than just giving every kid the same worksheet. Whether you know it and you don't know it, this way we can individualize. But we can bring them all together for these group activities and these group discovery sessions and the magic tricks and get them interested in it.
I guess the question is kind of like why they're not teaching cursive handwriting anymore, because everybody's on the computer. We all have smartphones with calculators. Do you find that you adapt to them using the phone, or still using their brain to add and?
Well, as far as simple calculations, we teach them that, and then by the time they hit late middle school and high school, got a calculator in your hand, and that was a whole new game changer. You know, when we were growing up, we were graphing equations by hand. Now we need to make sure those kids are ready for the 21st century and be able to graph on a calculator and to use all that technology. So that's part of my job.
Yeah, I think it'd be a big part of your job. You know, and again, engagement is the key. So if you had to give our teachers one suggestion as a stage performer for engagement, and now with over 10 million followers, what suggestion would you give our teachers and our parents on engaging their students?
The first thing that I would say, it's just a personal feeling that when I was in school, I really hoped that my math teacher or my English teacher, or they would show me more things that are like example from the real life that says, you know, math is so good for that, and math can help you with this, instead of just abstract equations. You know, there's so many examples, and like, you know, they send rovers on Mars, and this is pure math, and then they build supercomputers, and this is pure math, and this is amazing. We need to know math, because otherwise we're going to be left behind. We don't know, like you say, gambling. You know, gambling is math, and if you don't know math, you're going to gamble all your money.
Well, and again, engagement, even sports. You know, you're looking at the scores and you're saying there's 2 minutes left, and you know, what's the probability of that happening? Wrap it up. And last comments to our parents that are watching. How can they help your job be easier?
Just to keep encouraging the kids. Keep encouraging them. We want them to believe in themselves. That's my biggest job, is to help them gain that mathematical mindset, that they can learn the material and help them find some success. Not everyone is born going to get it just like that. Just
Right.
be patient and calm, and just keep encouraging them, and that they can do it, and they will get it.
Kathy Buffington-Lacey, math educator at K.O. Knutson Knockout Middle School. We thank you for showing up today and helping us out. Xavier Mortimer, we wish you the best of luck, and we can't wait to come and see your show over at Bally's Magical Dreams. Is that it? I got it right?
Yes, that is right.
The only thing I didn't get right is I still can't say Pythagorean. I'm having trouble with that. My name is Jonathan Scott. If you have some input, please send us an email at info@onaireducation.com. I want to thank you for tuning in, and thank you for joining us today. And as always, eat well, party hard, my friends, and stay safe, stay happy. Thanks for tuning in.